DeOndre.
The one and only. When they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. You know, every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
There seems to be an epidemic of podcast hosts saying really, really stupid stuff in order to get a reaction out of people. And that is the genesis. That is the basis. That is the foundation for what I want to talk about in this video, because it just seems to be an epidemic at this point. I mean, the amount of stupid shit that podcasts and podcasters, podcast hosts say and spew out of their mouths for clickbait and interaction on their platforms is honestly worse than COVID. It really is. It's worse than the pandemic. And what I'm going to be talking about in particular is this podcast host who's, been pretty much catching trash can juice in regards to her viral TikTok clip of her saying video games are for children. With the growing number of games and the popularity of games and gaming over the last few years, a lot more people have shared their feelings and their thoughts and opinions on whether or not, it's appropriate for adults to enjoy them. Podcast host Mandy B and singer Bridget Kelly, they host a podcast called See the Thing Is. During an episode in March, she shared her thoughts about video games, and this is what she said.
I am an adult. Video games are for children.
Wow.
And so me in dating, I would rather you have a hobby that's not video games, something that enlightens.
Exactly. Now, this was posted a few days ago on May 30th. Once it pretty much hit the airwaves, it went viral pretty quickly. Now, in this clip, there's obviously a little bit more to it, and I'll show it a little bit later in the video, but she pretty much states that she thinks video games are for kids. It's been posted on Twitter. It's been viewed almost about 7 million times, okay? Now, in that clip, she says, I would rather you have a hobby that's not video games, something that enlightens you. Now, there was a guest that was on this podcast, and that was Cleo Thomas. Now, a lot of you who may be from a little bit of a different generation, maybe a generation like my generation, or even a little bit older, you recognize Cleo Thomas as the actor who played Zero in the movie Holes. That was one of his honestly biggest roles, I would say, that he's kind of had since his acting career began. Mind you, Cleo Thomas has been in the game for a long time, right? I remember when this dude was, rapping with Bow Wow back in the day. Like, that's how old, that's how far I go back. Like, when Shia LaBeouf wasn't crazy, like back when Holes was considered a summer camp movie. Like, that's how far back I go. He's managed to carve out a lane for himself in the gaming industry and on Twitch. He's, very popular. He was on the podcast and he had a few things to say in regards to her take on the whole video gaming as an adult.
You don't think video games do that at all?
I ain't gonna hold you. My favorite video game growing up, it was Frogger. So I'm just helping a frog cross
That
the street.
track.
Oh my God.
Frogger. Amazing. So the fact that you played Frogger means that we should validate this opinion automatically. Yeah, I already know where this is going. Continue.
God, all arguments invalid. Frogger? Of all the amazing games
I got another
Frogger.
one. I got another one. Grand Theft Auto.
GTA's, you're one of your all-time favorites?
Grand Theft Auto. Before you decided to keep this going as a grown man.
Right. Which I have made very, very lucrative for myself.
As if it wasn't already embarrassing enough, the kind of stupid ass take that she puts out there, to try to insult a man on a low key tip, saying as a grown man, like, really? That's what, what I mean? And the thing is, like, I've tuned into a couple of Cleo's streams, and they're actually pretty fun and entertaining. Like, he's a fun guy to watch from time to time. It's cool, and so, like, I just don't understand these brain dead takes in regards to video gaming. You know what? I'm just gonna continue to let it rock.
By the way, were you always a gamer?
I grew up playing games like Final Fantasy VII, you don't know it. Kingdom Hearts 2, you don't know it.
No.
Mega Man X, which I went and got him iced out here. You don't know it.
Mortal Kombat.
Still
I like that.
Name one Mortal Kombat character. Thank you.
I would expect nothing less from a person who thinks that video gaming is childish for adults to not know a single Mortal Kombat character, which is pretty embarrassing, seeing as how they rerun and respin the same fucking characters in Mortal Kombat every single year. I mean, you could have literally said anyone. I mean, you could have said Raiden. You could have said Katana. You could have said, you know, Liu Kang. I mean, goddamn. I mean, you could have said a bunch of shit, you know, shit. But listen, it is what it is. Now, a lot of people that react to the clip on Twitter, you know, they were pretty quick to share their opinions in regards to this whole shit that was said on the podcast. And a lot of people had some interesting things to say. This one person said, as an adult, the goings on of people shouldn't bother you this much. Another person said, so many people have this view, it's like a weird form of superiority complex. I'm more mature because I don't play games. And I really agree with that sentiment, because it's like, it really is kind of a form of like, okay, so because I don't play video games, I'm more of an adult than you. I really don't understand that, because everyone has hobbies. Everyone has different things that they're into. You know, and it doesn't make sense to try to ostracize someone or, you know, make people feel, or make mainly guys, because I really hear this kind of take for guys, right? For men especially, you know, which is very interesting coming from a woman, because women also are very big in the gaming space. And I think it's very interesting because female gamers are actually way more prevalent than they were before. Although a lot of women are still outnumbered in regards to male to female ratio, they're still at around 48% of the gaming population. Like around 40 to 45, 48% of the population, which is a big ass, that's almost 50%. So to say that an adult, whether it's male or female, they can't play games is a stupid take, to say the least. And this is very idiotic to say. I want to draw your attention to something, because this host, Mandy B, this isn't her first rodeo in regards to saying this very thing. She actually said something like this about 2 years ago. She was associated with the Joe Budden podcast. Now, a lot of you know Joe Budden and the Joe Budden podcast, one of the top podcasts in the world. I would say it's probably like a notch or two below the Joe Rogan podcast, but it's a pretty popular podcast. A lot of, people listen to it. I, from time to time, happen to frequent it. When she was affiliated with the Joe Budden podcast before she left, she literally said the same thing, her along with her other co-hosts on the show. So, she's no stranger to stupid takes. In fact, she's given out several of them throughout her time, podcasting. I want to let you guys hear exactly what she said, because again, the stupid takes don't stop.
And by the way,
wait, we getting it?
I didn't even mean to, but it just crossed my mind. Like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all grown ass men running around losing your minds over a PlayStation 5? It's called a PlayStation. Y'all are not that serious about doing nothing else. Y'all haven't been that serious about nothing or committed to nothing else.
Have y'all dated men that were into video games ever?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but in my 20s,
I'll be honest with you. Not if I think of the top 10 best dicks I've ever had, they didn't play video games. So I'm convinced video games are for mediocre dicks.
Video games are for mediocre dick. All right. Well, I guess my dick's mediocre then. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess I just have mediocre penis, man. I guess I do, because, I play video games. I'm not like the biggest gamer in the world, but, I enjoy gaming from time to time. This was a clip that was put out there from around 2 years ago. And the amount of hate, crazy tomato throwing that happened back then in regards to this take was just about the same. And to be honest, it's always going to receive this kind of backlash, because it's a stupid take. Like, why does someone playing video games as a hobby bother you so much? And I think what it is, at least coming from a female perspective in regards to men gaming, I think what it is because I feel like some women just can't take the fact that your guy or the dude that you're dealing with has a hobby that he enjoys. I just feel like maybe it's me, but I feel like it's like a jealousy thing. I feel like it's like something where, these chicks feel so, I don't know, they're just so insecure that they don't like the fact that maybe their dude likes something just as much as you, or it maybe more than you a little bit. I have no idea what it is. I don't understand the hate and vitriol that comes towards gamers. I really don't, because what does them playing video games have to do with you? Like, why are you so upset about it? Now, this was around the time when the PS5 and all that kind of stuff were coming out, and they were flying off the shelves, right? I mean, bots were taking them, bots were controlling the market. I mean, it was super, super hard to get a PS5 at that point. Now, I mean, they're just giving them away like, you know, free candy at this point. But you know, it was really tough to get a PS5 at that point. You know, here come these two idiots with their brain dead takes in regards to the PS5 and gaming as a whole. Honestly, at that point, this video is still on YouTube, by the way. Like, this video, it's a good thing they took down the dislikes. Like, you can't really see how many people dislike something on the video, because you would see that this video has almost probably 20 times the amount of dislikes as opposed to likes on it. It was getting absolutely killed as far as the ratio is concerned, and rightfully so, because what type of idea, what type of thinking is this? Everybody has their own hobby, male or female. Why does video games get this sort of backlash that it gets, you know? And I mainly hear this from women, like I really do, which is odd, because I just pointed out to you that, you know, women make up a good 40 to 45, 48% of the gaming population. So, and I'm assuming that includes streamers and women who actually play games for a living, like, and even the casual gamers, you know. And not to make this a male versus female thing, but I personally see this type of shit coming from women towards men. Like, what the fuck? Like, so who cares if he's playing video games? Now, if he's playing games every single second of the day, this dude's not going to work, he's not washing his ass, he's not doing anything, that's a whole different situation. But if he plays games just to blow off steam, or, you know, if it's his form of therapy or something like that and he enjoys it, like, so what? No one says anything to you when you're deciding to, on your phone for hours, scrolling through Instagram or Twitter, you know? I mean, at least he's getting something out of it. At least he's getting like a high score, or, you know, at least he's, you know, able to, you know, possibly make some money off of it if he decides to stream and he's pretty decent at the game. Like, I just don't get this kind of perspective, man. But overall, you know, the point that I wanted to kind of drive home with this video is just that she's no stranger. Mandy B is no stranger to the internet and how something can be twisted, or how something can be viewed on the internet. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew exactly what she was intending on doing when they put this video out there to the public. They know that a lot of people are gamers. They know the gaming population is very, very big. And so what's one way to go viral is to completely shit on that community and to completely make fun of people who are part of that community. The fact that she's done this before doesn't really surprise me. And honestly, this kind of thing sums up podcast culture in today's age very perfectly, because it's like podcasters, they just try to do anything they can just to go viral, like at any cost. It doesn't matter what that cost is. It doesn't matter. To any means, to what they can do to go viral, they're gonna do it. This is just one of those things. You know how people are gonna perceive this. You know how people are gonna act, how they're gonna respond. And having an opinion like this on video games in 2023 is absolutely insane. But I don't expect anything less from these kind of people. And at the end of the day, like, okay, like, that's one chick out of like 50 million that she doesn't speak for the whole. But I've seen a lot of people really get like super, super frustrated about this. And I definitely share in that sentiment, but there's no need to really give a fuck about what people like this say, because at the end of the day, people are still gonna play video games. People are still gonna do their thing. You know, and the fact that she couldn't name not one Mortal Kombat character, you mean to tell me I'm going to allow her to speak for the general public, you know, as to let her opinion, you know, dictate my life in terms of video games? Absolutely fucking not. Now, I just wanted to kind of speak up on this, man. Like I said, the fact that she's done this before is no news to me. She knew what was going to happen. And, you know, podcasters are going to do anything they can to get their platform out there. And it doesn't matter how outlandish they have to be, how rude they have to be, how stupid their takes are. It doesn't matter. As long as people's eyes are on their platform, they're gonna say and do whatever they feel that they have to in order to stand out. And that's just podcast culture as a whole. You know, I'm looking around the landscape, I'm seeing podcasts all over the place. A lot are good, right? A lot are pretty decent, but there's a good amount that are just trash and toxic and just don't need to exist. Just because you hand somebody a mic doesn't mean that they absolutely have to use it. And it doesn't mean that they have to be posted either. But good job on Cleo Thomas for, you know, definitely letting it be known that, listen, like, you can definitely make a good living doing gaming and enjoy it. And even if you're not making a living, like, it's something that you can do just for fun. It's a hobby, and it's something that isn't going away. People have been playing video games for decades. People who are 40, 50, even 60 playing video games. You know, at the end of the day, it's always going to be here. But that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you thought about this down below in the comments, man. All right, I just saw this circulating around the internet, and I thought I should give my 2 cents on it. But anyway, stay lit, believe in God, believe in yourself. Everything else will work out for itself, man. Peace.